Your Godforce, attraction, attunement, atonement, blossoming, positive, negative. What does it all mean? Well, today, stay tuned because we're going to do some really big reveals, and I'm going to explain some new information that my guides gave me, and then kind of shore up at the end this big reveal, this huge synchronicity that really confirms everything I've been sharing with you, and it blew me away. And for something to blow me away from a spiritual teaching perspective, it was pretty amazing. So stay tuned, and I know you're going to be like eating popcorn and going like, come on, Joe, let's start the movie, let's start the show. So let's talk about your Godforce. And my whole goal with these teachings, as you know, is to help you break the reincarnation cycle. Have you become more godly than mankind? And this is all an enhancement with regards to the flow of the love, the unselfish love that resides within all of us, but has been shut down because we have been contaminated by those in control of the planet. And this is going to show you exactly what and how they do the controlling. So let's first take a look at mankind and exactly what the flow of energy looks like around mankind. So as you see here, let's just pretend like this is a man, but I just kind of drew it like this. So we've got the positive polarity at the top. Energy flows, or force flows towards the negative. Force always is attracted by the negative. So when you are, as an example, working on strengthening the law of attraction, well, guess what polarity you are strengthening? Your negative polarity. Why in the world would you ever want to strengthen your negative polarity? Because it puts you completely out of balance, because now you are not self-sufficient. I'm not saying you evolutionaries. I'm saying those that practice the law of attraction and other materialistic type of practices are out of balance with God. They're thinking from their head, or the polarity is coming from their head and not from their heart. So they come here and they're enlarging that. And when they enlarge that, they realize, because it's a mental construct, what they don't have. And then they're trying to attract the perfect mate. And again, that perfect mate is not perfect because they're trying to attract them. So there is no attunement. There is no resonance. There's an attraction. And attraction, again, as you can see, is powered by the negative polarity. It's that simple. And this is true with everything. If somebody really questions this, I mean, any magnet, any electrical force, any nuclear force, and we can get into quantum physics, and this all works exactly the same way. The negative pole is the attractor pole. This is a force. So as, again, you grow this negative attraction, you put yourself completely out of balance. This is more electric. And this, of course, we live in an electric universe. Really, it's an electric construct, which I'm going to do a video coming up soon, which will even blow your minds, even bigger than this video, believe it or not. It's going to be really exciting. So this is head-based. Over here, this is what I've always taught you. This is heart-based. And as you can see, you still have the positive and negative. This is magnetic. And what happens here is there is no flow. This is where the flow stops, at the negative polarity. In this model, the godly model, we're creating a field, not a force. So the field is ever expanding, and the field comes back up into the heart. Now, this is really important to understand because this field actually originates from the heart. This is where love spawns from. This is the birthing place of God on earth is the heart. The birthing place for the not so, let's just call them the darker side, gets spawned in the mind and then gets recaptured here. But because this has no heart, there is no way to evolve. They've fallen into a trap. It's like their own personal hell, if you will, that they can never escape from. So this heart-based, this love-based, is fully empowered to continuously expand and flow. There is no flow. There is no current here. There is exceptional current here that builds on itself as you grow and progress. And this is really amazing because the magnetic part really ties into some of the things I spoke to you a while back about, which is the magi, which is the component of the word imagination. The magi is that wisdom, and it's that heart wisdom that comes from the magnetism. And you're going, well, Joe, what about magnetism? Is that attractive, or doesn't that attract? Actually, that's kind of a misnomer. The field has polarity, so it's not operating exactly the same way that this field of attraction does than a magnetic field. Now, one thing that you might find interesting, and for those of you who are not familiar with MAGA, which is Make America Great Again, and Donald Trump, now, Donald Trump is a pretty keenly intelligent and smart guy. And you guys, probably some of you anyway, just probably go, what the heck, Joe? I mean, I love you, but you're talking about Donald Trump, this crazy man. Well, Donald Trump is, in MAGA, is actually hidden or embedded for magnetism. Again, magnetism is the way to God. It creates flow through the heart. And it's when somebody, when I get into these discussions, goes, well, Joe, da-da-da-da, about Donald Trump, I said, well, let me ask you a question. What do you think Archangel Michael and the archangels did when they battled demons? Do you think they kind of invited Satan and the whole group over for a cup of tea? Or do you think they went pretty fiercely at holding to darkness to withstand the forces back? What do you think? Do you think they were kind? I mean, General MacArthur is another one of my favorites, and General Patton as well. These guys really won World War II for America. They defeated the evil German army at that time. And they were very godly, but they also were very protective of this country, and they stood up and did what they needed to do in order to protect you and I, to give us the freedoms that we have, not only in America, but really all over the world by destroying this Axis power. So when I look at this, and I've talked about Richard the Lionheart before, you have courage. Courage originates from your heart. It doesn't mean you're going to be picking daisies, but you're going to defend the ones you love. You're going to stand up for what is right. You're going to walk the right path, not the left path. And so as we look at this, I have to ask you, where is the attraction? Because one of the biggest misnomers out there taught by all of the law of attraction people is like attracts like. Well, that's not true, because if I put a positive polarity to another positive polarity, it repels. I mean, we've all had magnets as children, and even today I've got a few, and I'm a little bit older. I'm kind of an older kid. Or negative to negative. It doesn't matter. Like does not attract like. Like repels like. Like attunes and resonates. There's a difference. This is attraction. This is resonance. This is the key to unfolding and blossoming the God force within. And again, remember, mankind is negative, God is positive. So as we climb these scales, the flow of this field blossoms and becomes even greater. And I've talked with you in previous episodes around just walking down the street. And when you're filled with love, this unselfish God love, when you walk by someone, they just feel better. They have that innate feeling of, God, what is this? And they just know that they were in the presence of someone that was godly, that was here on earth. And it's an intuitive hit that they get. It's really great because, well, I mean, you know, because we're doing our part here to bring heaven to earth. So, let me talk about, one of the other things I want to talk about before I jump into the other thing, because this also impacts the third eye. And people talk about the third eye, and of course you've heard me talk about the third eye not being as important as people make it out to be. So the third eye, how and what you do to activate it, and of course I've talked about Kundalini, I've talked about people taking borax and different types of chemicals and things to get all the nonsense or the calcium to decalcify the third eye. Well, the third eye is in the etheric. It doesn't need decalcification. The pineal gland, and again, this is kind of a thing that's been perpetrated, a lie, to distract you from who you are, because thine eye be single, as many texts say in different ways throughout the ancient histories of spirituality or spiritual teachings, is really talking about thine eye seeing through the heart. And if you think about Kundalini, which they talk about activating the third eye, what is Kundalini? Well, it's the serpent coming up your back. And I could talk about the pinga and all that sort of stuff. But for the most part, it's a serpent. It is sex energy. So when sex energy or earthbound energy, material man energy, activates the third eye, what does that mean? Well, it means you're going to be viewing things from a very 3D perspective. Even though you might catch glimpses, it's going to be filtered through the perspective of a serpent. Period. And who was the guy that, or the thingy that kind of like tricked Eve in the Garden of Eden? Serpent. So Kundalini is not, I personally will never endorse Kundalini. But over here, where I talk about the heart, and Kundalini activates the crystals within the third eye by what's called piezoelectric. So in other words, when you activate this serpent, it creates compression, which creates a piezoelectric effect, which allows these crystals within your third eye, the pineal gland, to activate. But again, you're tuning that to the pressure of the serpent. So over here, you've got the third eye that's been awakened through this. This is, and I don't have a good name for it. So if you guys have a great name, put it below. But I'm just calling it the, like they got Kundalini, I'm going to call it the Lovelini or something. I don't really have a name for it because, well, Spirit didn't give me one. But the Lovelini, as you can see, is filled with love. So the third eye, the crystal structure, is not through a force. It is actually through the resonance of your heart, of love. So when you activate your third eye through your heart, you actually see the world through love versus the eyes of a serpent. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So what we're talking about here is, on this side, is amplifying the negative. What we're talking about here is creating a field of love. And again, we're going through all of this. So this is important to understand how this impacts you on your journey to move forward to end the reincarnation cycle and bring the godly bliss that's within you, this Godforce of infinite love. It's an infinite wellspring of love. If you think about just the greatest and coolest waterfalls, the most beautiful waterfalls in the world that are constantly just bringing this nourishment to earth, that is what you are. You are a cascade of infinite love coming to this and bringing it to this planet. And it's just really awesome to be able to share this with you. So once we look at all of this, we look at, again, the trap versus the expansion or the blossoming. This is the law of blossoming. And the really cool thing about this is based 100% on love, unselfish love. This, no heart. So this is actually based on negativity, no love, or actually selfishness. This is something that hopefully people can't escape from. So in my previous video, I talked about pi, phi, pi, and some of you guys gave me some great feedback. And some of you, and I never really intended some of you to use it as a mantra, but some did, and it activated some crazy things, crazy in a good way, because it expanded them. So pi, phi, pi, and I talked about pi being the original size of the soul in the human vessel. Phi being the expansion, which has been known. It's the natural expansionary law of God. And then hitting pi again, which is the perfect sphere. And again, your soul is perfect. So it's perfection, expanded perfection to a new level of perfection. And that's what you get here. Here, there is no expansion. You are contracting. You are pi, but negative pi, because as I've shared before, attraction means contraction. It means you are contracting yourself because you're relying on the negative pole, the negative forces, because again, negativity is the negative pole is the only thing that attracts. Plain and simple. So really, it's about elevating yourself and becoming this pure vessel of unselfish love and sharing that forever. So with that, I wanted to share this in this video, the polarity, the fields versus the force of attraction and creating a field of love, and how this actually ties synchronistically, intuitively into the most ancient name of God. I hope you're as excited as I am about this, because this really makes my heart sing, and it even makes it, I'm just so excited to be able to share this with you and complete this loop as we all bring these love harmonics, these harmonics of God through the wellspring of our human vessels to bring love, light, and blessings to this amazing planet that we're on. So with that, let me know if you have any questions. I love you guys so much. And and I think I mentioned this in my last video. I've been kind of shadow banned because of all the godly information that I share. So if you could refer this to a friend, make sure you hit the like button. I would certainly love that. And I am opening up a coaching program for those of you that are interested. So go to joeheller.com. You can click on the little coaching icon. Because again, some of these things that I pose in these videos, these teaching, these lessons, you may need someone, I'm not saying you, but someone may need a little fine tuning, and I am here to help you evolve. And that's really what we're here to do together, is share the love and again, create heaven on earth. So I love you guys, much love. I'm Joe Heller, and I will see you in the next episode, which I guarantee you will knock your socks off. Bye-bye.